Welcome back, everyone. Let's continue our discussion. And in this video, we are going to work around with depreciation amortization. Now, to complete the depreciation amortization, it's not one element. Let's understand this. Why is it so? Because depreciation amortization is interlinked with capital assets. So, if we look at row number 10, of balance sheet, capital assets, row number 11 of income statement of depreciation amortization, and also the CAPEX, which is capital expenditure, row number 13 for cash flow statement. So basically, we will have to forecast all the three line items as they all three are interlinked. If I only forecast depreciation amortization or for that matter capital expenditure and I only link them, then it is going to pop up a model is error. So let's come to input and calculation first. Let's select this two row, which is row number 69 and 68, and let's group them. I go up and also group these two things. Row number 33 and 34. I While editing the file, I realized that again I missed to edit this file or basically rename the file. So before you continue with forecasting of closing capital asset depreciation, amortization, and capex, you need to rename this file. So file will be renamed as 17.finmod Britannia capital asset, capex, depreciation, and amortization. So the file name should be file number 17. Please continue with the video. I come to this segment, which is cell number B71 to D71, change it to heading 3, and I write uh, capital assets, capex, depreciation, and amortization. I come to this cell, which is cell number C72. I write capex, I get depreciation and amortization. I come down, and here we will also have the pro forma for our capital assets, which is opening capital asset, add capex, less depreciation and amortization. Finally, we will also have the closing capital asset. This closing capital asset will have a cell style of subtotal. We come to this segment, which is cell number G75 to J77. So basically within the pro forma of capital asset, we change these cell styles to blank cell. We don't want these cells to be touched for historical information. Now we get the historical data first of all for all these three things. Let's come to balance sheet. We will also get the historical data for the capital asset for the previous year as well. So simply I come to cell number first of all G10 and copy this formula and paste it in F10 and as it is. So this will have that formula itself. So if you can recall, while we were regrouping our balance sheet, this was using some if function and it is linked directly to the historical data as well, which is basically for March 21 as well. So I select this array, which is from F10 and copy this down up to J10. Copy this, come to input and calculation, come to cell number F78 and paste special as link. We do not require to do the similar thing for depreciation, amortization, and capex. So I come to depreciation, amortization within income statement. The array is G11 to J11 in IS sheet. An input and calculation cell number G73, pay special as link. Now let's get the CAPEX, which is in CFS row number 13. We select everything from G13 to J13. I come to input and calculation, pay special as link. Now, one thing which we need to adjust is the CAPEX, which is actually reported is in negative values because capital expenditure means cash outflow. But while we are calculating or forecasting the CAPEX, we will have to bring this back to positive values. So I just press F2 in cell number G72 and multiply this with -1. And I copy this formula to write for all the remaining cells. So all this data within the CAPEX for a historical period is in positive values. Now, first of all, we would be forecasting the CAPEX in this cell. Okay. Now, let's go up and let's get this to cell number C37, and this will be CAPEX. And of course, this will be depreciation and amortization. CAPEX is based on percentage of total operating revenue. This is based on percentage of previous capital asset. When I say previous, means previous financial year. So for percentage of TOR will be the CAPEX for March 22 divided by total operating revenue, which is G57. Pressing this tab, I change the cell style to percentage new. I copy the formula to right, and we have got the respective percentage. We come to the cell and we come to the last cell, which is P37. Change this to input and to percentage. I change this to 2.5%. That's what my estimate is, that the CAPEX will be about 2.5% in March 31. And everything in middle, we are going to use our own formula, which is this one, copying this formula and getting it in cell number K37. And I copy this formula to write for all the remaining cells within between March 26 to March 30. Now we have this ratios, which is percentage of total operating revenue. So I come down to the row number where we have CAPEX and we start working around with the calculation. So CAPEX will be the total operating revenue multiplied by the CAPEX percentage of TOR. So this is the formula K57 into K37, which gives us the CAPEX. I select this array and copy it right for the remaining forecast years, change the cell style of J72 to deviant, and this gives us the CAPEX. Now we come to the depreciation and amortization. Let's calculate the historical percentage. So the depreciation amortization reported for March 22 divided by the capital asset for March 21, closing capital asset. The percentage is 11.5% after changing the cell style to percent, copying the formula for all the remaining historic years, and we have this up to 11.2%. I come to cell number P38, change this in input and in percentage, make this as 11%, and again fill the same formula in the remaining cells in between. So again, this is gradually just falling down from where it started. Now, depreciation amortization, this ratio will help us to forecast the value of forecasted depreciation amortization. And for that, we will require the previous year's closing balance. Let's put the formula in this row. So the previous closing balance is going to be this one. So J78 multiplied by the percentage, which is 11.2%. Cell number K38. And we have 316. Now, one interesting thing is that the moment I just copy this formula to write just in cell number L73, we don't find depreciation amortization. I hope you understand the reason, because the value in K78 is 0, nothing. So let's work around with the pro forma segment, which is closing capital balance. Opening balance will be equals to the closing balance. So cell number K75 is equals to J78. Add the capital expenditure, because CAPEX is going to increase the asset value, capital asset value. So 412, which is K72, and reduce the depreciation amortization. So whatever depreciation amortization has been estimated in this point for March 26 will be reduced. So multiplied by -1. And in cell number K78, we use a sum function. And the moment I use the sum function, we can see the formula changes. So in cell number J78, I change the cell style to deviant. And I do the same thing for cell number J73 as well, to deviant. Now we have this depreciation automatically getting calculated in cell number L73. So basically, again, when I just copy this to right, you can understand this will again give us 0. So what we can do, I can just first of all copy this everything, which is basically from array number K76 to 78, and copy this right, and copy the same formula for depreciation amortization, and copy this right to for the remaining forecast years. And here we have the forecasted line items for CAPEX, for depreciation amortization, and closing capital asset. Now, this is the only segment where we find that there are three elements which is going to go to all the three different financial statements. CAPEX will go to cash flow statement and in negative values. Depreciation amortization will be linked directly in income statement, and closing capital asset is going to get linked in balance sheet. Now, note, the moment you start linking them, the moment you link any one of them in the first place, you are going to find something called as trace error in cell number E1 across the file. That is because it immediately creates an imbalance between total asset and total equity and liability. Don't worry about that. The moment you link everything correctly, then that error will automatically disappear. So we are going to start with CAPEX first of all, because we need to make sure that it is not only linked, but it is also linked in negative values. So I select the array from cell number K72 to P72. I come to cash flow statement. I come to cell number K13 and pay special as link. I pay special as link, and the moment I see this, I find this as trace error. Now, we will have to make sure that we will have to link this in negative value. So, into -1. I press enter and press Ctrl R. So, because CAPEX is cash outflow, it needs to be negative. I come to cell number J13 and change this to deviant. We come back to input and calculation. We come to depreciation amortization K73 to P73. I copy this. I come to income statement. I come to cell number K11 and pay special as link. I come to cell number J11 and change the cell style to deviant. Again, error is still there. Don't worry. The last part is left out, which is closing capital asset. So I select the array which is K78 to P78. I copy this. I come to balance sheet. I come to cell number K10 and pay special as link. I link the capital asset, the trace error goes away, and it comes back to the normal case, which is model is okay. I come to cell number J10 and change the cell style to deviant. So this marks the completion of forecasting of capital asset, capex, and depreciation. I hope you are clear with that. If you have any questions, put that in comment box. Thank you for watching the video.